I don't normally get this chance in group classes to go a little bit deeper into dance, something that I've always been curious about simply because I was just always a horrible dancer. So today I'm going to talk about 2 tips and 1 secret to making your basic salsa steps look smoother, and just for you to feel confident in yourself. And I believe that confidence doesn't come from any dance partner. It comes from how you feel in your body and how you use your body to move on the dance floor. The first major tip is, imagine you just got onto some ice, you're about to skate, and if you're like, Alex, I've never skated before, well, guess what? I'm going to teach you how to salsa skate. Hey, okay, so all I'm saying is you do the T-Rex. The first tip is the T-Rex. I was never really taught this when I was a salsa level 1 student, and it's not something I want to obsess about in my group classes. But you're watching this because you want to level up your technique. You want to feel better on the dance floor. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to bend your knees and you're going to pull your pelvic bone back. And what's important is the pelvis needs to be leaning back. So your pelvic bone isn't pointed straight down, but it's in fact pointed at your heel. And so that's why I call it kind of a T-Rex, because you got that little triangle, little arrow pointing this way. Why? This brings your center of gravity lower, and like in skating, if you're skating, you want your center of gravity lower so your knees and your pelvis act as shock absorbers. In fact, when you're walking, you don't think about it, but your knees aren't really locked like this, right? I mean, as far as I know, right? Unless you're wearing a cast. But when you walk, your legs and your knees and your pelvis, everything gets unhinged. And so that's what you want. And in fact, what I would suggest for you, trust me on this, you want to sit even lower. So it should feel like there's pressure in your quads, and that's a really good sign, and in your hamstrings. If you are dancing salsa and you're like, Alex, you know, my knees hurt, I get tired, in my knees, they're just sore here. That is because, and this is part of that tip, is when you're dancing, you're leaning forward and your pelvis is locked. So of course you're going to wear out your knees. And as a dancer, I want you to be able to dance till you're 100. So when you pull back, and you notice I kind of did a little micro body wave, it's my way that I trained to remember to sit down. And that's one little hack. So whenever you dance with someone, let's say you go out social dancing, as soon as you grab their hands, you do a little body wave and sit. And it's not the fact that you're showing off the body wave. It's a little trigger that when you make contact with your partner, you're in the seated position. In fact, remember this. Every time you grab a dance partner, you sit down first before you start your salsa. So now you're in seated position, you got this triangle, you got the T-Rex, that's the first tip. It's a long tip, but it's worth it, so practice this. The second tip to making your salsa smoother is pass your feet. Salsa is 8 beats, and we count 1, 2, 3, 4 is a pause, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a pause. But really, you're continuously moving salsa. In fact, if you see professional dancers, like you're watching Alex, right? Oh my God, I'm professional. But when you see professional dancers, they're constantly in a state of motion. And whenever they freeze and they do something, it's to accent the music. The music is playing, dancer is moving, energy is flowing. So the trick to this is I'm going to bend my knees. We're in the T-Rex position. Make sure that you're not leaning in. Again, no pressure in the knees. You want to pull your weight back so your weight really sits from your heel just to where your toes are starting. Well, my toes is here, but, you know, kind of this part of the foot. Yeah. Anyway, so we're seated here in this position. And so what you're going to do is you're going to step forward on the 1. You're going to step back on the 2. You're going to pass on the 3, and you're going to gradually land on the 4. Then you're going to pass on your right foot 5. Now I'm doing also on leader's timing 6, and you're going to pass on 7, and then you're going to gradually put on 8. So it's going to go quick, quick, slow. Now I'm doing the basic version, quick, quick, slow, and I'll explain to you what I mean by basic version. Basic version is I'm still kind of very quickly putting my weight down just to show you the passing of the feet, versus here, quick, quick, stop, quick, quick, stop. And so you got that kind of staccato, very sharp pausing that happens, and that's in every move. You know, you do a right turn, for example, so I do a right spin, and then you kind of collect, you pause, and then you go. Versus if you spin, and you gradually transfer, if you can see on the camera, and then you go into your basic. And that's what, when you see someone, you can't quite understand what it is, but something about the way that they move just looks smooth. And the best you can do usually as you're a beginner dancer is say, well, they've been dancing for years. Well, now that's the trick to it. So it's passing your feet. And so you practice this, you know, you're talking to a friend and you're just practicing your quick, quick, slow, your forward and back. And with the count, it would look like this and sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now here's a secret I was never taught until way further in my dance career. And honestly, I didn't care about it much. But once I started it, and this is hard work, it just changed everything. It changed my bachata, it changed my kizomba, it changed my merengue. It just changed the way my body moves and feels. It's just incredible. You do have to be patient with this one. This is that secret one you've been waiting for, that secret sauce. All right, so here's what it is. And I teach this in privates as well. Okay, weight transfer has to be gradual. And I'm gonna simplify this. And maybe at some point, if you love this, I'll do a whole video, like a good 5-10 minute video on just this technique that I learned to be an instructor and to be able to be up front and just inspire my students. So the basic idea here is, you know, imagine you're putting on a shoe and it's a little too small. Like if you're a size 9 and it's 8.5. And so like, you know, imagine you're slipping, and I'm gonna show with this foot, imagine you're slipping your shoe in and the heel is a little bit hard to get your foot into. And so you press it in and you kind of feel this invisible resistance, and then you slide the heel in. Right? Now, I'm not doing the moonwalk. Actually, that's not the moonwalk. I just embarrassed myself, but I'm keeping this recording. It's not the moonwalk I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is weight transfer is gradual, just like walking. You've never really thought about this, but here we get nerdy. If I want to walk forward, I would take my foot gradually, and the weight goes from the right into the left, and it's not my foot drops straight down like that, right? You would go from your heel to your toe. And so it's a sliding, smooth motion, very nice and slow. What you do in salsa is kind of the opposite. And so what you're instead doing, instead of going heels to toes, you go ball of the foot, notice that ball, not toes, ball of the foot into heel. How do we apply this in a simple way? I mean, I could do, honestly, like whole half an hour on this. How can you apply this right now as you're watching? How can you follow along? Okay, as soon as you've practiced your T-Rex position, all right, so if you're 5'7", and then you can convert into centimeters, but if you're 5'7", you know, you go to 5'5" for now. And after you practice your passing your feet, what you're gonna do on the 4 and 8 is practice a slow transition, like you're slipping your foot into a shoe that's a little too tight. And it will look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll see it on the camera, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so you'll notice I'm taking longer versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because now I'm stationary. And so again, very slowly, it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah? Now the ultimate thing, and again, if you love this, just this nerdiness of it, comment, send me a message, send me some love, and I'll do a whole video on it. But like ultimately, whether in salsa and bachata, you're actually all the time doing it. You're moving through the ball of your feet, and this way your whole body starts to move dynamically in a fluid way, just like you would be when you'd be walking. It feels incredible once you get this down, but to this day, you know, I learned this only a couple of years ago. I'm still perfecting it. I am not the best at it, but definitely I feel more grounded. I feel more confident. I feel smoother. Turns, I just land them better. Everything feels great. And so, oh, someone's waving at me. Thank you. I'm sending you a big heart. Yay. Oh, she sent me a little big heart too. Oh, she sent me a hat. You dropped your hat. You sent me a hat. Oh, she picked up her hat. All right, that was amazing. That was some love. There. I wish you caught it. Was that caught on camera? We'll see. All right. So what was I saying? Oh my gosh. Okay. So what are the 2 tips and the 1 secret? So the first tip is the T-Rex position. Thumbs up. Come on. Please give me a thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. Tip 2 is when you go quick, slow, you pass your feet. You do a gradual transition versus quick, stop. And then the third tip, the super secret tip, this is really now getting into intermediate, honestly, advanced technique. It's this idea that you're doing a gradual weight transfer through the ball of your foot into your heel, never collapsing your feet very quickly. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this. I love, again, getting nerdy with you, with myself on these techniques because I wasn't a natural dancer. I didn't pick up any of this. It took a lot of hard work. And I had to create these rules of like, imagine you're skating and imagine you're putting on shoes in order for me to understand something that when my instructors over the years taught me, I didn't understand. Because for me, it felt like they were talking in algebra, and math is not my strong point. So I really hope this was useful to you. Give a like. Please comment what else would be useful. You know, I really focus on bachata and salsa. And by the way, if you haven't figured it out already, I am teaching right now LA Salsa, Salsa on One, but a lot of these techniques are transferable into most of the other salsas as well. So, love you. happy whatever the day is today. Today for me is Saturday, but whenever you watch this, happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Love you.